Alright, just a couple of more quick things in this video and then we'll move on to the next one. Basically, I have completed the interface for the most part. I've wired up the other two buttons so you don't have to watch me type that in, and I've also added a couple of empty subs that will correspond to the clear button and the close button. So we'll start with the clear button. Basically, all you really have to do if you want to clear out your application in case the user wants to enter another temperature, just set the text box contents to a null string, meaning a nothing string, and set that result label, the one that begins invisible, set that also to a null string. So this basically amounts to 2 lines of code. So we'll say FC controls set text. Remember, when we're setting the contents of a control, a label, or a text box, we use set text, as opposed to get text, where we're extracting the contents of the text box, you know, like the number, whatever the user typed in, we're taking that into our program. Here, this is output. So we'll say, for whom are we setting the text? Well, txt cells, for one, we'll set it to a null string. That'll clear out whatever the user previously typed in that text box. And then we basically do the same thing for the label, that result label. And that would be LBL fair. And we are clearing it out to nothing. And at that point, it'll be invisible. So we'll see these 2 lines of code in action. So 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, once I hit this clear button, set text is going to set this to nothing, so that'll empty out, and then it will also set this label to nothing, and that too will empty out. Okay, so that takes care of that. Let's do the close button also. I'm going to ask you to add a close button to most programs that you do, and really what I want at the very least is this. This will close your program, no questions asked, and this is appropriate for where we're at this moment in this class. So basically, that was it. I clicked the close button and the program closed. You'll see in a lot of my examples that I give the user a choice. Do you want to quit, yes or no? And even though we haven't covered this yet, you could still type this in if you wanted to. Basically, what you can do is use FC dialogues to present a message box to the user. And here I'll start with FC dialogues. And this ask for yes, no. And what this will do, and then we go ahead and put the message that you want to display, or the question you're asking the user, the yes or no question that you're asking the user. Are you sure? I'll just leave it at that. We get the idea, right? Okay, and what happens is this will present the dialogue to the user. The dialogue meaning the little message box. Okay, are you sure, yes or no? See, the thing is, though, at this point, I, the user, am going to click yes or no. And we need to capture that response and store it somewhere. And where do you store anything in programming? Into a variable. So what we'll do is, why don't we call this answer, we'll call the variable answer, yes or no. Okay, so once this line of code executes, what's going to be left is either a yes or a no in the answer variable. And then we can perform a little analysis on it, and we'll say if answer equals yes, then we're going to quit or end the program. Okay, so I have like a little sandwich inside of my sub-sandwich. This is an if-then type of construct, and it almost reads like plain English. If the answer is equal to yes, if the user clicked yes, then end the program. And if the user clicks no and answer happens to have a no, then this will not execute. This will not execute. So we'll go ahead and test that out. And I'm going to say close. No, I'm not sure. I don't want to close. And the program stays open because the program.end statement did not execute. We'll do it again. This time I'll say yes, and the program.end statement did execute. So that's just another little enhancement that you can add to your programs. Like I said, at the very least, I want this line in your close button, click sub.